Welcome, everyone. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's explainer. We're about to take a massive leap in your English skills, zeroing right in on grade 7 English and the totally fascinating world of the oral tradition. But here's the secret today. You're not just students. You are going to become master literature detectives. We're embarking on a major investigation, and the skills we uncover are going to completely transform how you read, how you speak, and most importantly, how you persuade others. We are talking about mastering the art of the evidence-based discussion. So grab your magnifying glasses because we've got a thrilling case to crack.
Here's our roadmap for today. First up, the power of evidence. Then, reading closely for clues. After that, speaking and listening skills, followed by discussing the oral tradition, and finally, putting it into practice. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The power of evidence. All right, before we even look at a text, I want you to step back and think about your own life for a second. Think about a time you were in a really frustrating argument, maybe with a friend or a sibling. Have you ever known with absolute certainty that you were right about something, but you just couldn't prove it? I mean, think about how frustrating that is. When discussions lack proof, they just devolve into people yelling opinions back and forth. Yes it is, no it isn't. It literally goes nowhere. Trying to win a discussion about a book or a story without evidence? Well, that's exactly like trying to win a courtroom case without any proof. A lawyer can't just stand up and say, hey, my client is innocent because I feel like it, right? No way. They need fingerprints, timelines, they need evidence. And in the English classroom, your evidence is the text itself.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this isn't just some random rule made up to make things difficult. This definition actually comes directly from the Course Standards portrait of a literate student. A truly literate student values evidence. And what does that mean? It means citing specific textual proof to support your interpretations and constructively evaluating how other people use evidence. It's like the ultimate magic tool. When you bring textual evidence into a discussion, you instantly elevate your argument from a simple opinion to an undeniable fact. You're no longer just sharing how you feel, you're revealing what the text actually proves.
Moving right along to Section 2, Reading Closely for Clues.
So before we can step into the courtroom of our classroom discussion, we've got to act like detectives at the crime scene first. We have to read our text closely and carefully. The Grade 7 reading standard actually requires you to, and I quote, cite several pieces of textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text. Now, the absolutely crucial word there is several. We aren't just looking for one single quote to back us up. Finding one piece of evidence? Sure, that's a good start. But finding several pieces? That shows a pattern. It proves your analysis is anchored deeply in the text. Whether you're pointing out something the author said directly, the explicit part, or something you had to read between the lines to figure out, which is an inference.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive difference between an unconvincing, weak opinion and a powerful, evidence-backed claim. Look at a weak claim. It sounds something like this. The main character in this myth is really brave. Okay, sure, but why should I believe you? That's just an opinion without proof. A strong claim, on the other hand, is anchored in specific textual evidence. It sounds more like, the main character is incredibly brave because, as paragraph 4 states, he stepped into the dark cave without hesitation, even though he knew the monster was waiting. Do you hear the difference there? The strong claim is something no one in your discussion circle can ignore, simply because the text itself is doing all the heavy lifting for you.
All right, Section 3, Speaking and Listening Skills.
Okay, let's dive into how we actually present our clues to the jury, aka our classmates. This is where the magic of collaboration really happens. The standards outline 4 critical anchors for this. First, you have to prepare for collaborations. You can't just show up and wing it. You got to have your textual evidence ready to go. Second, express ideas clearly and persuasively. Speak up, make eye contact, and state your claim with total confidence. Third, and guys, this is a big one, build on others' ideas. A discussion isn't just a bunch of people waiting for their turn to talk. It's a shared structure you're building together. And fourth, evaluate a speaker's reasoning and evidence. This just means listening to your classmates with a critical ear and asking yourself, wait, did they just use strong textual evidence, or was that a weak claim?
To make this a whole lot easier, think of a collaborative discussion as a procedural flow, almost like a 3-step dance. Step 1, listen closely to your peer's claim. Really hear what they're arguing. Step 2, evaluate their reasoning. Do their text clues actually support their idea? Step 3, respond with your own textual evidence. If you agree, you could say, hey, I agree with your point, and to build on that, on page 12, it also says. Or if you respectfully disagree, you might say, I see your perspective, but I kind of interpret it differently because in the 3rd stanza, the author writes, See how that works? You're constantly passing the textual evidence back and forth.
Which brings us to Section 4, discussing the oral tradition.
Now, we're going to connect all these broad detective tools to the specific focus of this lesson pack, which is analyzing the rich, historical, and honestly incredibly diverse world of the oral tradition. We're talking stories, myths, and folktales passed down through generations. As grade 7 detectives, when you read a myth or a traditional story, there are specific literary elements you want to investigate. First up, themes. Where's the evidence of the central message or lesson? Second, character development. Think of a myth like Hercules. How does he respond to those massive trials? Or how does Maui use his cleverness when facing a really daunting challenge? You want to find the exact quotes that prove these characters changed or reacted in a specific way. Finally, point of view. How does the storyteller develop the perspectives of different characters? When you jump into your group discussion, these 3 areas are exactly where you'll shine your flashlight to find the very best textual evidence.
And finally, Section 5, putting it into practice.
Let's move to the final stage and see how all of this builds into your actual assignment for today. This is the moment where the theory transforms into action. Here are your direct transfer practice marching orders. Step 1. Investigate the assigned text from the oral tradition. I want you to read it closely, like your case depends on it. Because it does. Step 2. Gather several textual clues. Don't settle for just one. Highlight, underline, use sticky notes, whatever it takes. Find those explicit details and those hidden inferences. And Step 3. Present your case in a collaborative discussion. Sit down with your peers, share your claims, listen to theirs, build on their ideas, and always anchor your points in the text. You are fully empowered heroes ready to tackle this challenge head-on.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, really powerful thought. Valuing evidence, listening closely to others, and building logical, fact-based arguments, these aren't just skills for getting an A in English class. As the core standards beautifully point out, these skills are literally the foundation of responsible citizenship in the real world. So ask yourself, how are you going to change the way you speak and listen in your very next conversation? Will you bring evidence to the table? I definitely know you will. Good luck with your investigations, detectives, and I will see you next time.